Well, welcome once again to Yates American J180 restoration. In this part, we're going to completely rebuild the Gerbing Roto Cone. The Gerbing Roto Cone is a Reeves Drive, and it's basically a variable diameter pulley. After cleaning up this main drive shaft with the Reeves Drive on it, I found there's a couple more set screws down in there. So, removing them, after cleaning this up a little bit, looks like somebody was getting kind of rough on it at one point. I'm not sure exactly how this Reeves Drive comes apart. I'm going to retract the pulleys from each other. There's a little screw right here. We'll remove that and see what it does. That's a tiny little screw. As always, you have to stay really organized, especially with little parts like this that can get lost. I took some time to cut a couple of discs to fit over the Reeves Drive. I needed a way to pull that skirt down away from the top cap. Based on a hint from an old woodworking machine member and a drawing, I decided to go ahead and try punching on that hole, and sure enough, there is a pin that goes through there. It was polished off on this side, so I couldn't tell that there was a pin. It just looked like it was metal. I've got that pin out. Let's see if we can tap this off somehow. Alright. I'm not sure how we'll uncompress this without, there's a spring in there. I'm not sure how we'll uncompress this without it going spring. I unscrewed these posts as much as I can. There's still quite a bit of spring in there, so I don't know what's going to happen when I take these off the rest of the way. One, two. That's quite a spring. Let's take a look at this Reeves Drive, or this is a Roto Cone in the Gerbing brand name. But anyway, this Reeves Drive has a gear, and you can't really see it very well because of the lighting, but there's a gear down in there that keeps these two racks in sync with each other. So I removed this set screw on this side down at the bottom the other day, and there's two more set screws here. It's very possible this will just all fall apart into a bunch of pieces. So there is a second screw here. There we go. So that gear is inside there. Probably hard to see. If I remove this last screw here, I think this will all come apart. I'll just do that offline. Well, I took this part offline, but there are these two racks. One is held by two screws at the bottom, and then the other is held by two screws at the top. Here's this gear that keeps the two racks in sync, and then that's the axle. I'm going to work on cleaning and reassembling the Reeves Drive, and for this wrestling here, I'm just going to use this Rust-Oleum. Well, one of the things you're supposed to not do is let this Rust-Oleum product dry on the part, and I ended up doing that accidentally. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm a little concerned about this back here because this is actually the bearing surface for the roller bearings. Since this is not going to be painted, I'm going to spray it down with some fluid film. You could use WD-40 or something if you wanted. Now I need to clean up the rest of the stuff from the Reeves Drive. All these parts from the Reeves Drive are pretty greasy and they're a little bit rusty too. Knock off some of this heavy rust before I put it through electrolysis. Actually, that looks pretty good by itself. I think I'll just go with the wire brush and call it good. Last thing to clean up on that Reeves Drive is all these little parts, these little tiny set screws, and this gear, these racks. Okay, well, this Gerbing Roto Cone Reeves Drive, when the cones are together, the neutral position should be completely together like this. So these racks on this center post need to be positioned such that when everything's fastened, these cones will be in their neutral position. Okay, I've determined that the rack for the bottom cone needs to be even with the top of the shaft, and the rack for the lower cone needs to be even with the bottom of the shaft. So we'll get these installed. So there's the action of the roto cone. You can see the rack moving in and out there, top and bottom rack. So the next step will be to put the spring on here and compress it down, and then get this roll pin, the shear pin, installed. So I've got this down far enough that I can get this pin in here and put this cap on and see if I can drive that pin in. Okay. So I should be able to release this tension now and the drive will be complete. Well, that's pretty much the completed roto cone. So this will get assembled on to this shaft here, and then this gets further assembled onto a large pulley.